There are two things every gamer secretly loves: an open world so massive you can get lost in it for weeks, and a character build so deep and so perfectly crafted that it feels like yours and yours alone. The right skill tree, the perfect loadout, the exact combination of abilities that turns your character into an unstoppable force nobody else is playing the same way. Most games give you one or the other: a beautiful open world with shallow progression, or deep builds locked inside a boring, lifeless map. But the best games, the truly special ones, give you both: a world begging to be explored and a character system deep enough to obsess over for hundreds of hours. Today, we found 20 of them. These are the best open world action games with the deepest, most rewarding character builds ever designed. Let's get into it.
Black Myth Wukong looks like a pure action game. It isn't. Hidden underneath the spectacle is a genuinely deep build system that rewards experimentation. You pick a stance, which changes your light attack moveset. You pick a spell school from 6 options, each with completely different abilities. You pick vessel transformations that give you temporary bestial forms with unique moves. You slot mind core upgrades into a passive grid, and relics add hidden secondary effects that interact with the rest. Matching the right vessel to the right spell school to the right stance is a puzzle that takes hours to solve. When it clicks, and it will click, you feel unstoppable.
Fallout 4 just had its 10th anniversary, and they released a full anniversary edition because this game is still going strong, and the build system is a big reason why. Special gives you 7 core attributes. Each one feeds into a column of perks, 275 perks in total across all 7. You only get 1 perk per level, and you're capped, so every choice locks other choices out. Then you layer weapon modding on top, hundreds of combinations per gun. Then power armor on top of that, with its own set of upgrade slots. A VATS pistol build and a melee stealth build share almost nothing in common. Replaying Fallout 4 with a totally different special setup feels like a different game every time. Baldur's Gate 3 is on this list because the multi-classing system is one of the most creative character build sandboxes in the history of gaming. 12 base classes, 46 subclasses, feats that unlock at specific levels, hundreds of spells, cantrips, and reactions, and they all stack. A paladin who takes 3 levels of warlock becomes a padlock, and that specific multi-class breaks the game in a specific way that speedrunners spent months optimizing. A fighter who dips into rogue for sneak attack gets a completely different combat rhythm. The game rewards knowing the rules, and since the world reacts to everything you are, the build is also the story. Extraordinary depth. Diablo 4 gets dismissed sometimes, but let me tell you what's actually under the hood. Each of the 6 classes has its own massive skill tree. Then at endgame, you unlock the Paragon board, a grid of tiles you navigate, collecting stat bonuses and glyphs that amplify abilities in exponential ways. Then there are legendary aspects that fundamentally rewrite what your core skills do. A Sorcerer Blizzard build and a Sorcerer Ball Lightning build don't feel like the same class. And the seasons keep adding run words and new mechanics that completely shake up what the meta looks like every few months. The full open world of Sanctuary is enormous, and your build shapes every second of it. Dragon's Dogma 2 has a trick that no other RPG does: the Augment Carryover system. When you level a vocation, you unlock Augment passive abilities, and those augments stay with you permanently even when you switch to a different class. So a Mystic Spearhand who has gone through Warrior, Thief, and Mage vocations first is a completely different beast from one who hasn't. You're building a character history before you're building a current character. Your Pawn Companion also learns from how you play and adapts their behavior. So your playstyle literally teaches your AI partner how to fight alongside you. Wild, deep, and unlike anything else. Monster Hunter Wilds released earlier this year and immediately became the benchmark for hunting game build depth. You choose from 14 weapon types, and I mean genuinely different weapon types, each one a deep combat system on its own. A greatsword and a dual blade don't share a single mechanic. Then you layer the armor skill system on top. Specific gem combinations unlock skill thresholds, and the right set bonuses interact in ways that multiplied hunters are still discovering months later. And crucially, you rebuild your character specifically for each monster you're hunting. The preparation is the game. No other action game makes pre-combat build crafting this satisfying.
People know The Witcher 3 for its writing. They sleep on how deep the build system actually is. You have 3 completely separate trees: combat for swordsmanship, signs for magic, and alchemy for potions, oils, and decoctions. The game only gives you 12 active skill slots, so you have to make real choices. But here's where it gets interesting. The mutation system in Blood and Wine lets you combine everything in ways that break the game wide open. The Euphoria mutation, where your toxicity from potions converts directly to damage, that's one of the most satisfying character power moments I've ever felt in gaming. Real build depth, real payoff.
The original Cyberpunk 2077 had a shallow skill system. Version 2.0 came out and rebuilt the entire thing from scratch, and what they created is genuinely one of the deepest build systems in any open-world game. 5 skill pillars, cyberware slots across your entire body, each implant changing your combat in a specific way. A netrunner who hacks people's nervous systems without firing a single bullet plays completely differently to an agility-based blade dancer who's dodging through melee at full sprint. And then Phantom Liberty added the relic skill tree on top of all that. Night City responds differently to each build. It's not just different numbers, it's a completely different game. Let's start with the most obvious answer, and then explain exactly why it earns the top spot. Elden Ring has over 400 weapons, 100 sorceries, 100 incantations. Then there's armor with poise math that actually matters, talismans that quietly reshape your whole strategy, and weapon infusions that completely change how a sword behaves. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC added hand-to-hand martial arts, new spell schools, and a dozen new build archetypes on top of that. I know people with 12 different characters who still haven't tried everything this game can do. Other games give you a skill tree. Elden Ring gives you a research project. Nothing even comes close. Death Stranding 2 came out last year, and most people don't realize it has a genuinely deep character system under its gorgeous exterior. The A-Pass enhancement system lets you distribute skill points across 5 distinct branches: stealth, combat, survival, traversal, and the chiral network expansion. A SAM focused entirely on traversal, fast delivery, advanced climbing, zipline optimization barely resembles a SAM built around full military combat with upgraded exoskeleton, heavy weapons, and A-Pass combat stances. Kojima designed this to reward build investment across many hours, and the weapon variety, including the new A-Pass weapons unlocked through network expansion, gives you actual build choices that shape the whole experience. Starfield gets a lot of criticism for its world design, but nobody talks enough about how deep the character system goes. Over 80 skills across 5 trees: physical, social, combat, science, and tech. Each skill has 4 ranks. Each rank above the first requires you to complete a specific in-game challenge to unlock it, not just spend a point. Your starting background gives you 3 skills immediately, shaping who you are from minute 1. Stack that with a ship customization system and outpost building, and the number of viable Starfield characters is enormous. A diplomatic scientist who never fires a gun and a combat-focused soldier almost play like different games. Don't let the free-to-play label fool you. Genshin Impact's build depth is one of the most legitimately complex in any open-world game available right now. You build teams of 4 characters, each with their own weapon type, elemental kit, and artifact set. But the real depth is in the elemental reaction system. Hydro plus electro creates electrocharged. Hydro plus cryo creates freeze. Pyro plus hydro creates vaporize, which multiplies damage. The interactions between team members' elements create emergent combos that the community is still optimizing in 2026. No two players' Hutel builds are quite the same. The artifact substat grind is genuinely deep. This game earns its reputation. Odyssey was the moment Assassin's Creed stopped being a stealth game and became a full action RPG, and the build system reflects that completely. 3 ability trees: Hunter for bow, Warrior for straight melee, Assassin for stealth and critical strikes. Skills can be mixed across trees, but the engraving system is what makes builds personal. You apply custom stat bonuses to specific gear slots, letting you chase specific damage types or resistances. Then there's the mastery level system after the main game, which gives you 99 additional levels of refinement. A fire ability Cassandra with the right engravings is one of gaming's most satisfying power fantasies. This one flew under the radar when it came out, but Rise of the Ronin carries Team Ninja's DNA, the studio that made Neo, and that means the build depth is absolutely serious. Every weapon type has its own proficiency tree that takes hours to fully master. Each weapon has multiple stances: Heron, Tiger, Rooster, and switching between them mid-fight creates combo opportunities. Bond milestones with over 12 companions unlock passive abilities and story content. The loot system echoes an ARPG, with randomized stats on weapons and armor. Open-world feudal Japan is the backdrop, but the real game is min-maxing your Ronin into a perfectly tailored fighter. Monster Hunter World is the game that introduced this franchise to millions of people, and with it, one of the deepest armor skill systems in gaming. You don't pick a class, you pick a weapon type from 14 options, and each one is its own entire combat language. Then, you build armor around that weapon to hit skill activation thresholds. Sharp skill gives blunt weapons more damage. Maximum might boosts affinity when your stamina is full. Every decoration slotted matters. Every set bonus unlocked opens new strategies, and the game's entire loop, hunt, carve, craft, upgrade, hunt harder, is designed around making builds feel earned. Hundreds of hours in, and players are still finding synergies nobody noticed.